Welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Isabel Roy, and I'm happy to be covering the importance of cleansing and all of our filtering organs that we have in our body. We may not necessarily realize it, but our body is just this really amazing machine that has all these different parts, and it's not that different from these other machines or systems that we have in our homes or our cars, but they're just way more important. And so we have to look at it as, we have to do our maintenance, we have to do our cleaning. And a lot of patients come to me and they ask me, why do I had one just last night, actually, constantly having this rash on his back, for example. And interesting enough, he's also been having an infection. And before he told me about his rash, last visit before that, he told me about his infection. And we talked about, well, maybe there's something going on in his bladder, which could go up to the kidneys. Why do the kidneys get bogged up? And why does that cause skin problems? And so I want to talk about all those things today, and our more specifically our cleansing and filtering organs, which are so important. And just like any other filter that you can find in your furnace or in your car, we have to clean it once in a while. Now, we're not replacing the ones in our body. Our body does that itself, right? The cells regenerate and you have new skin, new tissues, new cells that always are replacing the old ones, okay? But we need to make sure that they're cleansed. And so we're going to talk about our lungs. We're going to talk about our liver, our intestines, our skin, our kidneys. Those are all filtering organs. And just touch on them quickly on which one does what and how I prefer to cleanse them and the products that I use to do that. I do it at least once a year. Springtime is a perfect time to do this, okay? And so we're going to talk about that in a bit. I brought my daughter's fun little skeleton, and we're going to hope he doesn't fall apart on us, but he has the body parts I want to show you. And if you're visual, you can actually maybe get a better idea of what's what. Okay. So first things first, we have, oh, okay, I can't minimize here. Okay, here we go. Just going to do this. Here we go. Now there's, like I mentioned, many organs that are vital and that are also filtering organs. Let's start with the lungs first. And so the lungs, they work with the heart to bring oxygen in your blood. And they do this by filtering the air that you breathe. And they take out the extra CO2 that can be in there, and they switch it up for oxygen. Okay. Excuse me. And so you have different parts of the lungs. We're not going to go and look at all those different parts, but basically we want to make sure that the lungs are nice and clean. Now they're breathing in a lot of stuff. So if you've been breathing in the air in your house all winter, right? The windows are not usually open. You're maybe not going outside as much. There's more accumulation of junk happening in there, okay? So one of the reasons we want to get the lungs nice and cleansed is to make sure that we're getting actually much better oxygen into our blood, okay? Which is also going to our brain. Yeah. If I take this off, I'm afraid it's all going to fall apart. Now, if I take the rib cage out, here we go. He's falling apart. These are the lungs here. Okay, we've got lungs right here. Now, you can live without a lung. We do know that you can survive without the lung, but it's much more difficult, and you may have a less of a life expectancy if you don't have all of your lung tissue. So if we go down next to the liver, it's the most important. Here's the liver. He's right here. Okay, liver is right here. The liver is the most important organ in your metabolic system. So this is what metabolizes the most when you're eating what's in your blood. So it helps basically convert the nutrients that you're eating into things that your body can use. And so it also helps to detox certain substances, and it filters blood that's coming from your digestive system through a vein, and it helps you get blood to other parts of your body. Now, the blood that's full of oxygen, really nice and rich in oxygen, will get to your liver, and it goes there from that artery, okay? And so it plays a lot of different roles. The liver does a lot. It helps with digestion. It helps filter the blood. It helps produce the bile. Now, the liver produces the bile, but the bile then is stored into the gallbladder. And I don't think the gallbladder is here. I looked earlier. It's too small, and it's usually hiding behind the liver. The liver helps your body filter out toxic substances, and that includes alcohol, drugs, but also prescription drugs, right? They are toxic to your body, and your liver helps to make them less toxic. But if it's too much, you can kind of bog that liver down. It helps to regulate your blood levels of the most important chemicals, especially amino acids. Now, the reason why this is important is because amino acids are the building blocks for your proteins. And so everything is made out of protein in your body, right? Your cells, everything is a protein. Amino acids are the smallest building block. It's the foundation of all those things. And so you want to make sure that you're having all the right amino acids and that your body is metabolizing those amino acids. Because if you're not having all of the necessary, there's some essential amino acids, then you can start having some health issues, okay? The liver also makes cholesterol, and cholesterol is not all bad, all right? And so there's some good cholesterol, and it's very important to have good levels of cholesterol, especially for your brain. The liver helps take some of the bad bacteria out of the blood. It also helps you with your immune system. It helps balance your hormones. It also helps with blood clotting. And so, someone who doesn't, their blood doesn't clot well enough, that can be something with an issue with their liver, okay? And so that liver, like I mentioned earlier, it partners up, it works together with the gallbladder to basically squirt bile into the small intestine and into the stomach when you're digesting certain foods, especially some fats. Now, the liver puts the bile into the gallbladder and it stays there. That's the storage for the bile, okay? And the gallbladder will release that when your body needs help with the digestion, especially of fats. Now, one thing that often happens, and I've had that happen to myself actually, is you may have a blockage, a gallstone in the gallbladder, in the duct, in the little tube where it would be squirting that bile to go into your digestive system. When we have excess weight, when we eat too many fatty foods, this can happen. Or with me, it happened when I was pregnant and I had a little baby pushing on with their foot into my gallbladder, which was blocking my bile duct. And after eating a more fatty meal, my body was not able to get that bile in there, and I had a gallbladder attack, which was very painful. It was more painful than giving birth. And so we want to make sure that all that is working properly. And even having excess weight, all that extra fat, that padding that we have in our abdomen, can make things work less well, okay? Cleansing will help with all of that. And so let's go down to the kidneys. So right here, let me see here. We're going to take his little intestines out. And these are all sticky. So I'm going to try not to pull everything out. Oh, I've got my little assistant here. It's little Harley. Hi. Here's the intestines. So we've got, let me put this here down before we go on to the next one. He thinks it's a toy. Now, we've got the large intestine and we've got the small intestine here. This is the small intestine. And the small intestine basically goes all the way here. And this is also a filtering organ, okay? So you've got your small intestine all the way here. And if I go here and get the stomach, okay? Stomach is here. And when you finished, you ate food, it goes into your stomach. Your stomach starts to digest, okay? And then it will go, and it doesn't, this is not, super accurate, but basically, let's find the edge here. There we go. This is the beginning of your small intestine. It's very long, okay? It's very, very long. In real life, it's very long. When you finish eating, your food goes into your small intestine, okay? And then it goes all through the zigzag here, and then it goes into what we call the colon. And the colon has three parts. It goes up, it goes to the side, to the across, which is the transverse colon, and then it goes down, the descending colon, and then this is where things come out. You poop them out, and there you go, okay? And so the intestines, let me just pull this up here. Perfect. The intestines, a lot of things happen, okay? And it's important that before things get into the intestines, when they're in the stomach, okay, that's where the food kind of begins its journey, right? And it moves down from your throat, it goes down through your esophagus, and then it goes into your stomach. And the muscles in the stomach, there's muscles in there, and it starts to break down and digest the food. There's some acid in there. It could be getting some bile, right, from your gallbladder. And it starts to basically produce enzymes as well that help digest your food. It starts to break it down. You need different enzymes to break down different foods. And we're going to talk about enzymes in a little bit. But you need all those different enzymes to break down sugars and starches and proteins and all these different, like milk, for example. Milk products need a different enzyme. And so we need to have all those in there to digest properly. And if we don't, that's where we start having food sensitivities or what they call allergies or just indigestion. And so basically, once that is starting to happen, at one point, it comes down. Let's see, it's kind of upside down for you guys, but what happens is it goes down, and when it comes at the end of the stomach, it starts getting ready to transfer to the small intestine, okay, like this. And if things are not properly digested or digested enough, it'll give you some trouble. You may be getting burping. That's usually a big sign that you've got some gallbladder issues. So big red flag. If you're burping a lot, my immediate thought is let's check the gallbladder, okay? Once you are digesting and you may have some gas or you may have some cramps, okay? There's something going on in the intestines. And if things are not properly broken down already from the stomach and the food is not digested well enough, and now it's in your intestines, you're going to have gas, bloating. You're going to get some cramps, okay? Burping, heartburn, that's all coming from your stomach. So different parts of your digestive system. Now the intestines, they're also going to be filtering, okay? The stomach doesn't filter so much, okay? It's not a filtering organ, but the intestines are. And they're basically a group of tubes that help filter out the waste. They absorb water. They absorb some certain salts, some electrolytes, which are important, right? And they help to continue digest the food. Now, if you have partially digested food going through the small intestine, you will have some, maybe some of that cramping, some gas, all right? But most of the digestion and absorption of the food happens in that small intestine, and especially at the beginning, okay? There's a lot of different parts of it. Food becomes feces when it travels to the large intestine. So it's not yet poop, okay? It's still food when it's going through your small intestine, okay? There's all this, small intestine. And once it's done going through all that and it transfers over here, it's on your right side, okay? There's a valve. It's called the ileocecal valve. And that valve is kind of like it just opens and closes, and it's right here. This is where the food transfers. And once it's in this large intestine, that's where it becomes poop, okay? And that starts to travel up. It goes across and it goes down, and then you poop it out. There's another valve here, okay? Now, sometimes people have pain here, and it's near that ileocecal valve. And what happens is often people have an ileocecal valve that gets stuck open or stuck closed. Sometimes they have little bits that irritate it, like seeds or little grains, like poppy seeds or sesame seeds. Or if you have food that's not properly digested up higher and it's going through that valve is supposed to have food that's now poop, right? It's supposed to be broken down properly. If it's still chunky and it's not broken down properly, it's going to irritate that ileocecal valve. And when that ileocecal valve is too irritated, it may get stuck open. And in that case, people have more diarrhea. And sometimes it gets stuck closed and it stays like that long periods of time. And that's where people have more constipation. Okay. And so that's something that if ever you do feel maybe is an issue, you want to get checked, is something I can check for, and we can work on getting that ileocecal valve working properly. Okay. Now, let's go back to our intestines. So we've got our large intestine, our small intestine, our large intestine, and they basically filter more toxins. They also absorb your nutrients, your vitamins, your minerals. If there's some inflammation, especially in that large intestine or in the small intestine up higher, you may not be getting the proper absorption of your vitamins and minerals. And when that happens over a period of time, now you may not even know this, you may not have pain, but there's inflammation that could be caused by pain, that could be caused by stress, that could be caused by not eating proper foods. A lot of foods that are unhealthy will cause inflammation in your system. Whatever the cause of inflammation, if you have it, you can't be absorbing the vitamins and minerals in your food from maybe you're taking vitamins. And that means it's not nourishing your body, but more specifically, it's not nourishing your brain, because those vitamins and minerals, they're coming from they're kind of sucking them out, your intestines, they absorb them, they're supposed to absorb them, and then they feed your brain. And so things like brain fog, trouble, difficulty concentrating and focusing, memory issues, mental health issues. Often there's a huge good connection with your gut. And if you're not addressing that inflammation in the gut, then it doesn't matter how well you eat or how many vitamins you take, you're not getting them. Okay, they're just going right through. So when we talk about cleansing the body, we want to make sure that those are all working properly and that we reduce that inflammation so that your body can absorb that properly. Excuse me for just 1 minute. Okay, and so we've got our filtering organs. The last one to talk about that's important, no, there's two last ones actually. There's going to be your skin. So your skin is an organ. It's your largest organ, and it includes your skin, it includes your hair, your nails, and your body fat. And so this system, it's the integumentary system. It helps regulate your body temperature. It helps protect your body, your body from dangerous things coming from the outside, right? It's like a layer of protection. It helps you make vitamin D. You make the vitamin D. The sun helps you, but your body, your skin is what's making the vitamin D. And so we've got different layers of our skin, and there's different types of cells. I remember having to learn all this when I was in school. We would have to look under the microscope to look at all the different epithelial cells. And it was with this professor named Dr. DeMons. We used to call him Dr. D. He was the cutest little man. He was so funny. And so there's a lot of different cells. This is not important for us right now. But the deepest layer of our skin is that subcutaneous fat layer. And that helps keep the body warm, okay? And it keeps, us protected if ever we get hit. It's actually some padding. It's good to have some padding. But basically that skin is how we eliminate other toxins. Now, some toxins we eliminate by sweating, and others are from the glands in our system, and they're more like the oily secretions from our skin. When we're having some skin issues like psoriasis or eczema or acne, rashes, right? It's a huge sign that something on the inside is not working properly. One of our filters is not working properly, and we're not eliminating through the feces, through the urine properly. So the body is like, I don't have a choice. I have to get this junk out through the skin. Okay. And so it's important to get that cleansed as well. All right, let me make sure that I haven't missed anything before we get to the kidneys. Now the kidneys and your bladder, okay? Let's see, we've got them here. They fell, the heart fell as well. Here we go. Here's the liver, right? Here's the liver up here. The liver is huge. We're gonna take these guys out. We're doing a dissection here. There we go. Here's the kidneys and the bladder, all right? So the kidneys are in your low back. And to use the example that I had earlier of my patient that came in, he comes in usually every week. Came in 2 weeks ago, and he said, oh, doc, I have an infection, basically what they thought was maybe in a testicle. But he was having pain up in his lower back, kind of on the side. He doesn't usually have pain there. I see him all the time. And I said, well, there's definitely infection. It sounds like you have an infection. Sometimes when you have an infection in one area, it travels to another area. And I suspected that he either had a bladder infection, which is the little guy here at the bottom. Okay, the bladder. They're made out of sticky material. There we go. Now, sometimes we'll have a bladder infection, and that infection will go up to one of the kidneys, right? The kidneys are in your low back, all right? Now, kidneys in general are about, Let's see. Oh, he's losing his lungs. Oh my goodness, he's falling apart. So if I look at the back, if I basically use the sticky stuff here, right here, that the kidneys are about, I'd say right about here, okay? So see how the kidneys are about that level. Often someone will have kidney stones and what they have is back pain. So you can have an infection in the kidneys and that'll give you back pain often. It's a big sign. These are what filter your urine. And so the urine filters through, comes through your both kidneys, if you have both kidneys, and then it goes down to these, through these tubes, and it goes to your bladder, and then you evacuate your urine. If there's an infection anywhere here or here, you may have all kinds of symptoms, right? You can have the typical like bladder infection or a UTI symptoms. It could be burning, it could be pain in your lower abdomen, or it could be pain in your low back. All right, those are all signs. Often people don't realize that that's what's happening, and they go see a chiropractor like myself, and we have to do some further testing because it's not pain that is relieved with chiropractic care. Okay, now in order to always keep our kidneys and our bladder nice and clean and working, functioning properly, it's really important to get the right amounts of fluids per day. I see too many people who do not drink enough in a day. They drink either very little or they only drink soft drinks like Pepsi or Coke all day, and coffee, which is fine. I love coffee, but you do want to have some good water. I always encourage people to have some lemon in their water, either fresh or the lemon oil. Those are always really, really good to have to help keep those nice and flowing and make sure we get the bacteria out and to clean those filters. Okay. So when we look at cleansing and we look at the importance of cleansing, I really like to follow a specific protocol. And there's different reasons. You may not even have any symptoms, right? You don't have to be feeling sick to have to do a cleanse. But what I do notice is when people have certain symptoms like brain fog that's been going on for a long time, like difficulty focusing, they may have some difficulty losing weight, not sleeping well, waking up always at the same time in the middle of the night. That's often a sign that your kidneys are having a hard time, or your adrenal glands, which are right above your kidneys. Skin issues, psoriasis, psoriasis or eczema, rashes. Those are all signs often that there's something going on with one of our filtering organs. Having fatigue all the time, no energy, hormonal imbalance for women. Okay, that's a huge, huge one. And then if you have a lot of inflammation in your joints, a lot of joint pain, a lot of inflammation, that can also be because your whole system is bogged down, and that toxicity that's in your body, because you can't eliminate it properly because your filters are dirty, it goes into your joints and you have that inflammation in your joints. Okay, so those are all signs that your filters need to be cleaned. And I've been using a specific protocol for quite a few years now. It's something that is very gentle. It's something that I really love using with myself and with my patients. And it's divided into 3 phases. And so I do it over 30 days. Now, back before I came up with this particular recipe, if you wish, I found a lot of different, and I've tried a lot of, like, I've been working in healthcare for 20 years now, guys, 20 years. It's been a long time. But basically, I've tried the different cleanses, there's different, like, I mean, I've heard and tried about like a lot of different things. I went to school with people from different parts of the world where they do cleanses with like seawater or with olive oil and all kinds of things. And every region, every part of the world has their own approach. And they can be intense. I'm not saying that they don't work, but it could be really, really kind of traumatic. You're going to be having a rough couple of days. Okay. It's not something I recommend. I'd rather do it over a longer period of time and not have to run to the bathroom and not have to follow any crazy diets. I'm not a fan of diets. I don't think that that's the way to go. But I think creating new habits is a good thing to do, and using natural herbs, supplements, oils to help us gently cleanse those different organs. Okay. Now, I like dividing this into 3 phases because everybody's in a different situation, if you want. And basically, we have to first prepare the body. And so I like doing the first 10 days where we're activating your system. And this is to activate our cleansing organs. And we want to basically get stronger. And it helps us to get the body ready to detox in the second phase, which is the second 10 days, right? So there's 10 days, 10 days, 10 days. And if this is something that you end up wanting to do, let me know. I have it all written down and I have the lists of things. And we're going to talk about the different supplements. Some of you may already have these at home, okay? Especially if you've been using our products for a long time, you may have all this at home already, or you may just need to order 1 or 2, okay? So the first phase, you're activating. The second phase, you're doing a reset of your system. Okay, this is the second slice of 10 days. You're really going to be cleansing the digestive system. This can sometimes, for some people, I know for myself, I'll feel some, it's not pain, but it's like, you can feel that there's some like burning of like, killing of some bad bacteria happening in your intestines. Okay. And that's going to be because of one of the products that we're using, which is the GX Assist. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But basically you're cleansing and you're purging the most in this phase. And when I say purging, I just mean you're really taking some of the junk and the garbage that's been in your system, maybe for a long time, and you're eliminating it. Okay. And then the third phase is going to be for you to renew your system. And that's the final 10 days. And in this phase is where we use probiotics, for example, to help rebuild that intestinal flora, right? And basically to fill any areas of bad bacteria and toxins that have been left, we're going to be cleansing, that last bit. And then we're going to continue supporting our organs with different supplements that help our body regenerate and to really work at its like best capacity. And so that's in our third phase. So during the cleanse that I usually do, that I prescribe for my patients, the first 10 days, I typically have them take some Terrazyme. Okay. Terrazyme is your digestive enzymes. Now, remember earlier we talked about the stomach and how it has enzymes in it. It should have the enzymes, right? But sometimes we're missing some. Sometimes we don't have enough of one, okay? And we want to rebuild that. So in the meanwhile, while we're rebuilding, we're giving our body an extra little help, a little boost, okay? Now, the Terrazyme is a full spectrum enzyme. You don't need to just take this when you're cleansing. I take these quite a bit sometimes, depending on what I'm eating, how I'm feeling. When you get in tune with your body and you know you know, my liver is not feeling great, or you're feeling like, oh, I need some help, Terrazyme is really, really good. And so basically, we need these enzymes to break down food, to convert the food into nutrients so that our cells can absorb it, and to support the metabolism of the different, like maybe the enzyme deficiencies we have. The Terrazyme is going to help. More and more, our diets also just lack the enzymes because we make less, we have less in our foods if we're eating foods that are overcooked. If you're using processed foods, they don't have the enzymes that you need. If you're eating lots of fresh foods, that will help you. But also, as we age, we make less of the enzymes in our body, okay? And so having a supplement can really help us out. When we take enzymes with food, they help us break down the food and they help us absorb the vitamins and minerals better. And so I like to take it sometimes on an empty stomach, and it helps reduce the inflammation in the body. You also need enzymes when you have an injury, because when you have an injury, you'll have some byproducts, some inflammation, some dead cells that accumulate around an injury, and enzymes help go and eat it all up. It's pretty cool, okay? So this should be something that we should all have regardless of whether we're cleansing or not. Now, lemon, and I love using the lemon oil, is such a great oil to have all the time. Now, I'm sure you guys will always, you know, you've been following for a long time, but if you're new, stainless steel or a glass bottle, make sure your straw is also stainless or glass. I put 1 or 2 drops in an empty bottle, and then I add with some cold water. You can do it in hot water if you want as well. The lemon is such a simple addition, okay, in your daily regime. It's really purifying. It's really cleansing for your body. It helps your digestion in the stomach. And it basically acts like, I like to call it like a Pac-Man, okay, to gobble up the toxins, all right? It also is great to help eliminate some of the little plastics that accumulate in our body. It also helps your lungs. So this is going to be one that helps cleanse your lungs. It breaks up mucus. It's really good, as well as lime. Lime is really good to break down mucus. And if you have a sore throat, it'll help you with that as well. You can use it with some honey. Now, having the right amount of water for your body is something that I teach about all the time, and it's so important. Nobody has the same body weight, right, necessarily. And so we want to be drinking half our body weight in ounces of water. And so, you know, let's say somebody weighs 180 pounds. If we divide 180, then we've got 90, right? 90 pounds. So 90 ounces of water for that person is what they're going to ideally need to drink per day. Okay. So someone who weighs 200 pounds, their goal is to drink 100 ounces of water per day. Now this, I believe, is 16 ounces. Okay. And so just measure how many ounces are in your favorite water bottle. And sometimes just treating yourself to a new bottle, a nice pretty bottle. You can get these at like Winners or TJ Maxx, or, you know, get a fun bottle and know how much it contains and figure out how many you should be drinking a day. Okay. Now, too much water is not a good thing, especially if you're not eating or consuming enough salts and electrolytes. Salts are really important, guys. Now, I'm not saying that you need to overly salt your food. However, a lot of people are not getting enough salts and enough iodine. And so it's a big trend to be using sea salts and to be using Himalayan salts. Make sure, because unless you're eating foods that are rich in iodine, okay, I feel like there's a lot of people that have iodine deficiencies, and that can cause you all kinds of health problems and affect your thyroid gland. And so if you're going to be using sea salt, try to find some that has that is not where they haven't taken the iodine out, because it'll make a big difference. And you may find a difference when you start switching your salt and using salt a little bit more with iodine, that your energy levels are going to be better. Okay, so that's just a little tip for you. If you're drinking too much water and you're eliminating too much salts, you're going to have some issues. Okay, so it's all about finding that balance. Having that proper amount of water is really going to help you with your kidneys and your bladder as well. Okay, and also just helping with digesting your food and getting everything going through your intestines and everything. It's so, so important. So next in our cleansing supplements and different vitamins and nutrients that I recommend, there's going to be the Zendocrine soft gels and the Zendocrine complex, these two guys. Okay, same name, but they're different. One is a soft gel, and these two guys are so important. Okay, one is a soft gel like this, and it basically has tangerine, rosemary, geranium, juniper, and cilantro. And these are going to help you, like, they're very purifying. The rosemary, for example, is really good for your liver. The geranium is also good for your liver, but also helps your body get rid of unwanted substances. The juniper berry helps your kidneys. It's very good for the kidneys. And the cilantro, this is the pretty cool thing. Cilantro oil helps your body eliminate toxins, but also helps to go and catch the heavy metals in your body. Okay, heavy metals, though, they're not good. Okay, and they get stored sometimes in your brain, in your fats, and they stay there, and they're very toxic. You want to get rid of those, and you need two kind of ingredients to get those, to get it out. You need to have something that's like a magnet, like the cilantro, but then you're going to need a sponge to suck it up and then eliminate. Okay, now the Zendocrine, the herbal version, you have to take these together. Okay, you don't take the soft gel on its own. You can take this one on its own, the white bottle, but you don't take the, I don't recommend taking the soft gel on its own, because you need the binder that is in this guy. Now, it's this guy, the Zendocrine Herbal, has herbs and enzymes in it to help cleanse even more your body. This is a huge cleanser. I love this product. It's so good. Okay. It's going to help the liver. It's going to help your kidneys. It's going to help your colon. It's going to help your lungs, and it's going to help your skin. All right. So this guy is going to go and kind of act as a magnet for some of those things. This one acts as a magnet for others, but it also acts as a sponge for some of the heavy metals, for example, and it sticks to it, and then you can eliminate it through your stool. Okay. Another product that we use that I talked about earlier is the GX Assist. The GX Assist, this has different oils in it. Okay, they're powerful oils. All right, here we go. Here's the GX Assist. This guy is amazing. It has oregano, melaleuca, lemon, lemongrass, peppermint, and thyme. A lot of these are spicy. Lemongrass, oregano, thyme, very spicy, hot oils. They're very antibacterial, very antiviral, and antiparasitic. So the lemongrass especially, that kills parasites, okay? And so this is going to help improve the bacteria and the balance of the bacteria in your intestines, and it'll help purify and cleanse that digestive system. All right, so this is this happens in the second slice of 10 days, the day 11 to 20. GX Assist is one that you're taking in that phase, and it really helps to like get rid of all that unwanted stuff in your bowels, basically. And then when we're rebuilding, we'll be using the PB Assist. Now, your PB Assist is your probiotic, okay? PB is for probiotic. They're really cool pills. All right. There you go. They're like this because they're double encapsulated, okay? This is so that the acid in your stomach does not digest them right away, because you want this to release, you want the pill to open in your intestines, okay, not in your stomach. And so there's 2 layers so that it doesn't dissolve until much later. Now, your GI tract that we talked about earlier, remember this guy, right? Your intestines, it's about 25 feet long. It's long, okay? And it really digests and absorbs all the nutrients and the food that we eat, but it also is how we eliminate, right? The waste from our body. Now, the immune system is really closely related to this. And if we don't have the right balance of flora, of different good bacteria in there, there's going to be a big problem, especially if you take a lot of like antibiotics, or if you've taken a lot of medications or antibiotics. It's going to change that flora. So those bacteria, the good bacteria, because there's some good and there's some bad in our intestines, right? If you have too many of the bad one and not enough of the good one, you're going to have issues, right? So in the cleanse, when we use that GX Assist that I talked about earlier, that kills a lot of the nasty stuff, it's not an antibiotic, but it does target the bad bacteria. And when you remove that bad bacteria, there's some like spaces, right? Because they're like positions. And we don't want more bad bacteria to go and replace them. So we want to replenish it with good bacteria. This is where we take the PB Assist, the probiotic. These are good bacteria, right? We know we find this in yogurt. We find this in different fermented foods. This is a higher concentration, but also concentrations that are actually going to get there to the actual location that we need to have it. And so this is going to be the foundation for a healthy immune system and a healthy gut. All right. So those, in a nutshell, are the products that I like using. And there's a certain protocol that I use to do this. So if ever this is something you'd like to get like the list and the breakdown of what do I do in the first 10 days? What do I do in the second, slice of 10 days? And what do I do from day 20 to 30? I have it all written down for you guys. One thing that we also take throughout the whole time is the lifelong vitality pack. And so a lot of you I know take your lifelong vitality pack. These are the vitamins. I don't have my my box, or maybe I do actually, but I'm going to leave it over there. But once I get my lifelong vitality pack, I always put it in a jar. This is my vitamin jar, and I put all 3 bottles in there, and it makes it way easier to take it every day. And so when you do the cleanse, the lifelong vitality and the Terrazyme, you're taking the whole 30 days. Okay, that's your foundation. But then every 10 days, there's one that you're taking, and then only for that 10 days, and then you switch to a different one, and then you switch to a different one. Okay, so those are the major ones that we use during this this protocol. We've seen a lot of different amazing results when people do this. They clear their skin. They have a much easier time losing weight. They sleep better. They can focus better. Their hormones are more balanced. And so doing a nice spring cleaning is always a good idea. So this is what we do. This is my little recipe that I use. And I'd love to hear if you have any questions, or if you've tried it yourself and you have something that you want to share about it with us. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you don't have any questions, that's totally fine. You can always ask me in private. You can always email me. You can put it in the comments, and I will also send you that list and that protocol. And in the I can actually show you guys. Let me see if I can find it here. I can show you guys what my basically my list looks like. What's this? What I want. That's not what I want. That's not what I want either. But I created this document for you, for anyone, all of my patients and my customers, to have it easy. I remember it always being complicated, trying to remember what to take and how to take it. And so I created this. There's a lot of work in this, but it makes it much easier to follow and to know where you are in the cleanse. Here it is. Okay. And so it's something that I can print out for you guys, or if you want it digitally, or if you want to print it at home. I have the shopping list. I have recipes in there too, some of my favorite recipes. They're all suggestions. You don't have to do any of these, but it talks about the 3 phases, like we said earlier, right? So we have the phase 1, we have phase 2, we have phase 3. And then for my American customers, we do have a suggestion for different juices that you can order. Some people love juicing at home. Some people like buying the juices already made. That's totally up to you. It really depends. I'm not a huge juicing fan, but I have a lot of people who love it, so I put it in there. Here's the list that you'll need. You can order it from your doTERRA account, and if you need any help, let me know. You can also order the Cleanse and Restore kit. And some people, I recommend taking the turmeric and the DDR prime. Not everybody, okay? And so check in with me so we can see if this is something that you need or not. Typically, that is with somebody who's had more of a serious illness, and who has, or someone who's had a lot of inflammation in their body. So it's not for everyone. These are optional, and we really customize it for you. But this is a general rule. And I have some suggestions too on what to get during your cleanse, some clean eating. But really, guys, it's just a matter of eat real food. Eat real food, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, eat some good meats. Just stay away from processed, stay away from, chips, stay away from fried foods as much as possible. Drink enough good liquids. It really is, there's no diet, okay? There's no like specific diet. Eat real food. And I have a list of some of the things that I really like using, and this is what I use all the time. It's not just when we're cleansing, right? And if you do this more often, then you don't have to cleanse as intensely. Your cleanse won't be as crazy, and you'll find that every year a cleanse is good, but it's not going to be as drastic or dramatic because your body doesn't get intoxicated so much, right? So slowly changing your habits is just the best way to go, right? Now, one thing that I always recommend avoiding, and you really just eating it as little as possible, is sugar, a lot of refined sugars. You can have some, just don't eat too much of it, right? Dairy, same thing. Have a little bit, but don't overdo it. Eating lots of dairy products creates a lot of mucus in our body, and that bogs everything down, right? We get congested, we get stuffed up, we cough up the phlegm. So it's really not good. Wheat, corn, rye, oats, and rice. Those also, for some people, they really bog down the liver. And so we don't want to overdo it, right? Margarine, never good. And a lot of salad dressings, just make your own. Some olive oil, some balsamic vinegar. You can use, different types of vinegar, some apple cider vinegar to switch it up, right? Keep it simple. Really avoid the store-bought dressings. Those are little steps that make a big difference. All those things that we use, right? Soy is also not all those fake meat things and Beyond Meat. I'm not a fan. Eat real food, okay? Prepackaged foods, the microwave foods, those are horrible for you. They have a lot of chemicals in them. Those really get stuck in our organs, okay? They stay in there, and we want to avoid that as much as possible. Artificial sweetener, so the Splenda, the aspartame. Aspartame is so poisonous to your brain, guys. Avoid it at all costs. MSG, and then the fast food. So those are good rules to live by in general. And there's some people like to add one or two things additional to this to help support their cleanse. Some people like dry brushing. That really helps stimulate your skin, right? And the circulation. Some people like using the Slim and Sassy oil with the dry brushing or taking it internally. You can there's a lot of suggestions here. And if you want it's not an ebook, it's really like a good size document that you can just let me know that if you want it. And I have recommendations, okay? And I have what to do, let's say here, your first 10 days. And so when you wake up, you take a Terrazyme. When you're still like you haven't eaten yet, then you're going to have your breakfast and you're going to take your lifelong vitality pack. If you're doing the turmeric, you're going to take it. Then you're going to take your Terrazyme and your 2 endocrines. Okay. Lunch, you're going to take Terrazyme. Dinner, you're going to take your lifelong vitality pack, your Terrazyme, and your Zendocrine. And then before you go to bed, you're going to take your Terrazyme. So this is an example of what you do during your first 10 days. Okay. You're going to drink your lemon water all day, and you're going to eat well. And so this is your checklist. And some people like having a checklist. And so they can basically, be like, yep, I took it today. Day 2, yep, I took my stuff today. My tip is to basically use those pill boxes. You can get them at the dollar store, at the drugstore, and organize your supplements. Basically organize your supplements for every day for each phase. It's way easier. Okay. And it's less annoying. I get annoyed if I have to open each bottle 3 times a day. Okay. Which is why I have this, by the way, for just every day when I'm not cleansing, because I'm just like, I'm not going to open 3 bottles, right? That's too much for me. I can't handle 3 bottles. So, in a pinch, you can use egg carton and just put them in the egg cartons and be like, oh, this is my morning, this is my afternoon, whatever works for you, right? And so this is, I have the breakdown here for your second phase, and then the checklist, and then the third phase, which is the last 10 days, and the checklist. And then if you want to learn more about each supplement, there's the information that we have here. I talk about all these different ones that we're using and what each one of them does. And so if you want to go back, you can go look at that again. And then we talk about different oils. Pink pepper is a really great oil as well. And so I talk about how you can use pink pepper and the DDR prime and see if that's something that you want to incorporate into yours. I have a liver activator in there, the importance of exercise and sweat, and then some fun dressing, some fun salads and dressings. Some of my favorite, my chia pudding is so good. I love chia pudding. And it's so easy. So when you're feeling a little something sweet, you can make this. You can also make this with chocolate. So just some cocoa powder. It's so delicious, guys. I'm in love with this recipe. Some smoothie recipes. I'm not a huge smoothie fan, but I put it in there because some people really love smoothies. And what else do I have in there for you guys? Some smoothies. Oh, yes, some roller bottle recipes to help support you in each phase. All right. So these are really fun. You've got 3 roller bottles here. And I have some instructions on how to do dry brushing. You may have heard about that. And oil pulling. Some people love oil pulling. If you want to try it, there's some instructions there as well. Epsom salts, how they help pull some of those toxins out of your body when you take a nice bath, and some oils that you can use with that. And if you have an infrared sauna, if you have access to one, remember some of my old patients that used to come at the old office, we had an infrared sauna, really important, right? To help eliminate those toxins. And then different teas, which teas can do what for you. And I go through a lot of different blends there and the different types of tea. And yeah, some different information. I worked really hard to get all this together for you guys. So if this is something that you like, just let me know and I'll send it to you. And we can always sit down and go through a more personalized approach for you. So I hope you guys learned something new today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at our next class. I'll let you know what that is very shortly. I think Wednesdays are usually a good day for everyone, and I'm just finalizing what the next one will be because we have a lot of different requests for different topics, and I'm going to go see which one has the most votes. So if there's something that you would like for me to discuss and present one day, please let me know, and that can become a topic for one of our lunch and learns. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will be back again soon.